Jesus says two things right next to each other in the Sermon on the Mount, two things that don't seem to go together at all. He says, each day will have enough trouble of its own, and he says, do not worry. That seems a little bit strange. He promises that we will have trouble every single day, but he tells us not to worry. He says that every single day of your life, you will experience trouble. If you live to be 100 years old, you will have lived 36,525 days, and Jesus says you will have trouble on 36,525 of those days. That doesn't sound like good news, but Jesus has peeked at your bank account balance. He has listened in on your family conversations. He has taken a look at your to-do list. He knows that you live in a world with a pandemic raging. Jesus knows that your life is full of trouble. Still, he says, do not worry. Worry is optional, even though trouble is mandatory. We think those two things have to go together, but Jesus says that the internal response of worry doesn't have to come every time the external threat of trouble comes our way. Worry is what usually happens when trouble comes. Worry is when we get anxious, when we get fearful, when we get distracted. But Jesus actually says to us, do not worry. But Jesus doesn't just give us that impossible sounding command. He tells us something we can do that will reduce our worry. He gives us practical help for eliminating worry. You know what he says you should do? He basically says you should take a nature walk. Jesus says an antidote to worry is to notice how God cares for creation. He says, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. You have a God who is so attentive to creation that he makes sure the birds have plenty to eat. Don't you figure you can count on him to take care of you too? And then Jesus says, see how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Jesus says, notice the flowers. They aren't stressed out about the high prices and low selection at the local department store. They aren't uptight about an Amazon delivery running late. But God clothes them remarkably well. God takes care of flowers, and not even Solomon could outdress them. Even all the A-list celebrities decked out for the Met Gala don't come close to competing with the splendor of a simple wildflower. Here's Jesus' point. Worry is unnecessary. We really don't have to worry. We have a creator who cares for his creatures. If he is willing to dress wildflowers like this, you know he's going to take care of you. We see all around us evidence of his competence and his compassion if we're just willing to look for it. So it turns out our worry level is not tied to the level of troubles that we have, but it's tied to our level of trust. If we see God as small and our troubles as huge, then we'll be full of anxiety. But if we see God as really, really big and our troubles as small in comparison to him, if we have full confidence in him, then we won't have to worry. So consider the flowers. Instead of scrolling endlessly through the gloom and doom on your social media, instead of churning over and over through all the what ifs in your mind, consider the flowers. Take a look at what he has made. Just step outside and see the evidence all around you that we have a creator who cares for his creation. Yes, every day you live will be full of trouble, but you don't have to worry because your amazing creator cares for you.